Good afternoon. I'm Gina Webb, Vice Chair of the Jacksonville Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee. Our Chairman, Edward Blizzard, was unexpected being hospitalized today and was expected to undergo emergency surgery. We wish him well in a very speedy recovery. So, as Vice Chair, I now call our 44th meeting of the committee to order. I want to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Our counselor, Dr. Angela Washington, is not able to attend as she is receiving her doctoring degree this week. Congratulations, Dr. Washington. Do we have any guests that will be speaking or others that should be recognized tonight? If not, let us proceed. Since I've already introduced myself, I would like to take a few minutes for our committee members and staff members to introduce themselves, and I'll start from my right.
Ossie Keys, member.
Sunshine Williams, member of the Tree Board.
Grace Hallberg, member and past chairman.
Lloyd Saunders, member.
Tracy Jackson, City of Jacksonville Community Engagement.
Yolanda Henley, Administrative Assistant.
Pat Donovan Brandenburg, Stormwater Manager for the city.
Glenn Hargett with the city.
Thank you very much. Every committee member is asked to update their contact information and to correct, if necessary, the information the city has on file. At this time, all members should have already reviewed the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt or amend the agenda?
I make a motion that we accept the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say nay. I'm sorry. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
All those opposed say nay. The agenda is approved. Minutes of our October 2018 meeting are provided for your consideration. At this time, do I have a motion to adopt, correct, or reject the minutes?
Motion to adopt.
Do I have a second? Okay. All those in favor say nay. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. At this time, minutes are approved. The attendance report is provided on page 9, which must be submitted to the clerk each month. Should there be a mistake in this report, please let staff know as soon as possible. The city ordinance requires automated removal for absentees. It is now time for our presentation for this meeting. I'm going to turn over this introduction for our next item to Mr. Glenn Hargett, our staff member.
Well, 6 days ago, I introduced Pat Donovan Brandenburg and talked about the things that were going on with stormwater. Well, obviously, in the month before that, we had Florence, and it has had some lasting effects, as we all know. There's still a lot of recovery going on. I think it's interesting, as of October 26th, when we had the last report from FEMA on this matter, they reported there were still more than 5,000 residents of the city of Jacksonville, not Onslow County, residents of Jacksonville who were displaced by the storm. Most of them were staying with family and friends, but nonetheless, that number is staggering to think of what has happened in our community. Since that time, the base has released that they're going to be asking for $3.6 billion to make repairs at Cherry Point, Camp Lejeune, and the New River Air Station. It is impressive, the scope of damage that has occurred, and yet those that were virtually unscathed or just had some minor issues or whatever there, we all have something to be thankful for. But the environment is something that we don't look at in that same way. it's not something that you see that's tucked away or whatever as it is. It's in front of us at all times. And clearly, there were we think of it, the environment is nature and how can it be harmed? But it was, but there's some good news about this as a result. So I've asked Pat if she would come back at this time and talk to us a little bit about damage to the environment and what the status is now, and to give us an overview. So Pat, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to see you guys. So again, as Glenn stated, just going to do an overview of what happened during Hurricane Florence and the surrounding area to the New River estuary and our area. This is a satellite photo of 3 of our river systems, and you can see black ink coming out into the Atlantic. This is what we would call organics, or detritus mixed in, flowing out with the black water from our river system from the flooding. And then an actual close-up of that where you color it and see that the dissolved organic material or detritus is broken down. You can see it flowing out into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I can speak for the New River. I can't technically speak for the White Oak or the Adams Circle, but for the New River, one of the reasons why we've got this organic matter pouring out the Sneads Ferry Inlet is because a lot of the swampy areas along the perimeter of the New River was flooded. I mean, not by a little bit, by a lot. And when the waters receded, it pulled this anaerobic, meaning without oxygen, very nutrient-rich black water out of the swamps and into the main channel of the river. And because the river is so slow moving, it flushes every 64 days totally, it got trapped in the upper portions of the estuary before it finally made its way out. So it was a very slow trickle to some of the other watersheds, like the Cape Fear River flushes every 6 days. So 64 versus 6 is a big difference between the two. And while it seems detrimental, it's a normal occurrence after a hurricane when you have that much rain moving into a watershed. Draining the swamps is a normal occurrence. And with that, not only did it drain the swamps, but of course, we had a lot of flooding in a lot of different areas. Some of the things and this is Sturgeon City, some of the things that occurred is we saw water in areas that we had never seen water before. And it made a lot of people nervous. This is down at the waterfront across from the courthouse. And you see the Highway 17 bridge in the back. And this one escapes. Oh, this is Kerr Street, the Jack Amiette area, which is part of Cheney Creek watershed. And this is the aftermath of this entire boardwalk was underwater. And so it left a lot of debris and a lot of trash and stuff in the area. But believe it or not, our boardwalk was at Sturgeon City was still in very good shape. And there's no better picture than this. This is over across Kerr Street Park, and this was the ball fields, and this is how high the water was in the ball fields because it left what we call a rack line up on the fence instead of just on the ground.
We might mention now the official high for the river was 7.27 feet.
Wow.
That is a new recorded record for the New River.
And because of that record height, a lot of docks were damaged, and that's why I said Sturgeon City was actually very lucky. Most docks were damaged, except for ours. We were again very lucky, and this is on the back side of the ball fields.
Fargo Street area.
Right, and this is Shoreline Drive. Unfortunately, Shoreline Drive had a substantial flooding, not only the first level, but in some of the places up to the second level. And then if there was any roof damage and you had rain coming in through the third level, then there was a lot of water. And this is some of the remnants that next week, there was still standing water.
Riverview Drive.
Riverview Drive, yep. And believe it or not, the only thing that was wrong with the Sturgeon City dock is down at the end is we have a kayak launch. Well, half of it is right here. Believe it or not, though, Hurricane Michael that came behind it refloated it, and so it floated back out of the area, was tied to a dock. We were actually able to retrieve it with the boat. So there's a good story there. And believe it or not, out at Landau, this is the fence around the perimeter of our berms, and this tells you how high the water was that you can barely see the fence.
That's an
It's
8-foot high
fence.
fence with barbed wire on top.
And this is Ann Street. And this is River Street in the Northwoods area. This is Henderson Greens on the left-hand side. And what was left of a truck in the middle. And this is the Ford Popular area.
Many of you remember the 99th and 100th demolition. I know Tracy will remember this day, was right across on the left-hand side
Look at
here.
your houses, my house is down there.
Yeah, they're looking good.
They survived.
And this is the Jacksonville landing boat ramp and dock, and it also held up really well, no damage. And unfortunately, our waterfront marina was even more waterfront. The canoes you can see on the left-hand side are actually floating inside of the building.
This building will have to be torn down, it's so heavily damaged.
And this is right around the corner at the end of the linear park. Also, Mr. Willingham's waterfront park area.
LP Willingham Park.
And across from the USO. And of course, this is Court Street. And you really don't see a street,
Now, does
except for the
anybody-
mailboxes.
Does anybody remember a famous video that came out from this site? On national television, the NBC Nightly News crew was here, and they showed the deer swimming
Yeah.
across.
Yep, that was, and the deer are back in the Sturgeon City area and the woods directly behind this house to the left. That's where you normally find them. And this is Phillips Park, Cheney Creek.
Wow.
Mhm. And this apparently was
TV camera caught this.
where they're leaving the downtown area. I feel sorry for the dog. And again, Henderson Greens, River Street again.
Days after.
Days afterwards. And the unique part here for me is you see water. This is Shoreline Drive. These are the homes on Shoreline Drive.
This is Sturgeon City behind it.
Yeah.
Sturgeon City is behind it, and what you see is water all the way around it, where Sturgeon City literally is a donut. It's just an island that wasn't flooded.
The new building was required to be up 12 feet tall. They put enough dirt in so it's 12 feet up. So showed the wisdom of that.
But yeah, I was very happy that the building and the structures were not damaged, even though we had water all the way around us. I knew we had a hard time. So one of the things about the organics, the swamp water being pulled into the main channel of the river is, again, right afterwards, that actually caused, anaerobic means without oxygen, it did cause a fish kill that lasted for a couple days because that swamp water moved so slow and the dissolved oxygen was below 0. You need at least 5. Also, that moving slowly down the river also lowered the salinities tremendously. The salinities means how salty the water is, and normally the middle portion of the river here is about 15 parts per thousand, and we were at 1. We were at 1 parts per thousand for almost 2.5 weeks. So what did that actually do to our Oyster Highway project? Remember, this is where we're making the stepping stone staircase to pull natural oyster populations out of Stones Bay, which is the only place that you can find the natural populations, further up into the middle section of the river, and we're doing that by augmenting with our own reefs. We're building 6 half-acre reefs that are situated where you have a shallow side close to land that you could walk from shore and fish if you want, or the other side is deeper, you can get to by boat. And it's comprised of oyster castles and oyster catchers, 90 of each. This is to provide habitat for more oysters, because again, remember, an oyster can filter up to 20 gallons of water every 24 hours. So on every one of these reefs, we will have 90 different patties. Each reef is marked by a sign marking the 4 corners. Unfortunately, Hurricane Florence took, of the 24 signs, she took 18. We just finished putting the last of the signs back out 2 weeks ago, so they were back up and running. They do have a scan target on them, so if you get close to it with your phone, it will take you to the City of Jacksonville's website where there is actually a reef survey that you can take if you caught something. What was it? These are the divers. These are the oyster castles. This is the configuration. You can see Peter, one of our water quality technicians, and here it's sticking out of the water. Now, how did they fare during Hurricane Florence? Believe it or not, they're all still there. The only thing that we lost in Florence were the signs. Believe it or not, I was pleasantly pleased with what was happening, because at the bottom left-hand corner, that's what they will look like when we put them in after a year. We're hoping for oyster recruitment and settlement, and we want them to look like the top 2 pictures. So any storms that come along, they're cemented in from our oysters. And these are the oyster catchers by Dr. Niels Lindquist. And AR 398, we augmented with $500,000. We're going to start diving the reefs to see how they fared. We know we've got mortality. What we don't know is how much. And this was us putting the live oysters on the individual mounds back this summer. We had 2 different deployments. And just recently, even though we had 2.5 weeks of low salinities, low dissolved oxygen, it all came back. Mother Nature will always win. Unfortunately, sometimes it's at the expense of man, but she will repair herself as long as we let her. 2 things that occurred after the storm is we had a huge fall spawn of oysters, huge spawn. So what that storm did is it actually triggered all of the organisms to spawn at one time to try and re-heal herself. So not only did we have a lot of oysters spawn, but we had a lot of speckled trout move back up the river after the low dissolved oxygen and the low salinity moved out. And we've got a lot. Look how pretty that speckled trout is. Is that not beautiful?
Tell them how these pictures came about.
I'll let you do that.
Well, we've, for the Visit Jacksonville project, obviously the hotels are all full. You know, we've lost a lot of hotel rooms as a result of this, but we wanted to try to continue to try to attract a few people here, and fall fishing is great. So we put Kevin Riopel out in a boat with one of the guides, and they went up and down. They just got people to show them what fish they were catching. And so if you have people from other areas that want to have some good fishing, you know, we've got it. It's great.
Yes, all the boats are back in the New River fishing again. So the river is back to its normal salinities, its normal dissolved oxygen. The fish are back, the birds are back. We're okay. Now just to finish repairing all the docks and the homes. So,
By the way, we have a great video on the city's website if you want to see, I mean, on our YouTube channel and on the Visit Jacksonville NC site that shows fall fishing in there. And it'll be promoted across the state here shortly. So those of you who have friends or others, just send it out and say, gee, there's a reason to come here, you know, because we're looking for things that do day trips or things like that as it was to go from that effort. So, Madam Vice Chair, that's a report on the habitat post-Florence there, and this is all a good thing.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. Man, I learned a lot. I don't think we realize how bad we all got hit in Jacksonville until we see this. At this time, we will now have an update from our subcommittees. Our staff will give us an update on our Planning Subcommittee and activities.
Now, I forgot to put pictures in the PowerPoint. So that's my fault, but Betty was there for the sanitation breakfast. Tracy was there, and Pam Trafton and Lily Gray, and the core members of the management staff were there to welcome and to thank the men and women of sanitation for their service as it was there. And Tracy, why don't you talk a little bit about what foods you offered to them and the manner in which you did that?
Well, Pamela Trafton, she was very fortunate to reach out to Golden Corral, and they sponsored the breakfast, along with, of course, the environmental appearance. Miss Betty, she was there in her capacity, and she's always a joy to come out and to share her appreciation with the staff. And they were very, very, very pleased, and they enjoyed that breakfast. We want to thank Golden Corral for all that they did in preparing that breakfast for them.
And I didn't finish. Do you remember what the date is of the one that we're doing for parks and code enforcement?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll get that date and make sure you have that, because we would like, obviously Betty was the only one that showed up at this one, and we would like you all, if you could come out to that one as it was too. On the recognition subcommittee, if I might help you on that matter there, we do want, well, here's the one city thing. I must have gotten these out of order there. But we'll show you those pictures then of that. But this is the, if you don't mind, we'll jump to that since I've got the slides here in the wrong order. This was the one city talking about the great things that happened at Winterfest. As you all know, it kind of got rained out. It certainly didn't have the crowds that it's had in the past, but those who came early and they were really great. And of course, some of the things where they got the wonderful young Marine volunteers and the other people that were there. And this young fellow, I don't know if you've heard this story before, he got scared. He didn't want to go down. And so one of the Marine volunteers said, "Here, sit in my lap." He took him down, and both of them had a lot of fun. And over at the Commons, they had the artesian market, and it was very successful. And of course, the rain didn't dampen what was going on inside, other than some attendance deals. But a lot of people found a lot of great deals out there. And then the flotilla that evening, and this was a great event. A little fewer boats than what they had hoped for as a result of the weather and such. There, we had to, curtail the tree lighting ceremony that night. But this is the city's entry. This is the city boat that Pat has, and this is her staff out there on it. And they went into went as part of the flotilla. This is the tree lighting ceremony, and one of the things we wanted to show you is how nice. I don't know if you've seen the park at night, but it's worth driving down there for a few moments and seeing as it is there. They have really done a nice job of making the park look festive. And this is from the rescheduled tree lighting ceremony from Tuesday evening as it was there. And they had, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus out, and it was quite a little event. And they were reading to the children out there, and there were some that were happier than others. And then the mayor brought up some children to help him turn on the lights, and that was a very successful event there. And of course, the tree is really a nice tree. It looks very nice. It's a natural tree, and it was a very much applauded activity. And to give some depth behind it, they put out these balls of light out there, and it really does provide some real depth to it as it is out there in that area. But do encourage you to go down and see the decorations of the Riverwalk Crossing Park and LP Willingham Park, and it looks just absolutely wonderful. This is the front of the train depot. And so now we'll go into the recognition committee. We are accepting nominations through December 11th, because on December 12th, you folks are going to go out and tour. And you'll remember this is one of the winners from last year. This is one of the nominees that just came in a few days ago up in the Keller Court area. And looks pretty nicely done. And this is a self-nomination of a place that we went on, Jean Circle, last year. And remember, they got best cottage look last year, and they've added a few things, and the little white picket fence there just kind of speaks to the matter and really makes things go. And they've expanded their activities there. And this is one that's over in the just eludes me of their commons area. And, you know, it was well sought after last year. And this is one, I think, in the Northwoods area that we saw from last year. But if you have something to nominate, go online to jacksonvillenc.gov/holiday contest. We do require you to put a picture up, so we make sure we get the right house. We've kind of learned a lesson from that. That's why we asked for a picture. And so put in all the information you can on the matter there, owner and such there. If you don't know, just make sure you get the right address and right picture, and we'll take care of the rest of it as it was. So that's where that is. If you don't mind, I'll just go right on into the staff report then. And we want to give you a little reminder about recycling. This time of year, this would be a great time to talk about the Planning Subcommittee. And Ms. Sunshine, why don't you talk a little bit about what you did before you came down here to the meeting room?
Me and Pat Donovan, Brandenburg, and Carrie Trail were sort of put on a video to remind people what to do in recycling for the Christmas season, with Christmas trees and some of the ornaments and things that you collect while you're having the festive time of the holiday season. So I hope everybody will enjoy it and be able to look at it on G10 during the season and know what to do with the things you collect during Christmas.
And we'll put it on Facebook also and YouTube, and we're going to spread it around, and so
it was very interesting. I think everybody will enjoy it.
This is a good thing. So you can give this. We got the naughty and nice recycling guide here, and the naughty list is: we don't take wrapping paper, ribbons and bows, plastic bags and packaging, plastic decorations and toys. Number 6, plastic, cannot take. Styrofoam, which trademark matter there, tinsel, Christmas lights and batteries, and anything that's food contaminated containers, which frequently our manager reminds people as pizza boxes and things like that as it was, but that's the deal. But the nice list is there, and that's plastics 1 to 5 and 7, clean though, and cardboard containers, clean, and aluminum and metal cans, clean, get the message here. Cardboard boxes and packaging is flattened, and newspapers and magazines, glass, mixed unshredded paper, like junk mail and all that stuff and everything is very much welcome as it is there. So there's the little naughty and nice list, and this is part of what we can take and be a part of for our stream that we take it. So, Madam Vice Chair, that's what we have so far this time, and unless somebody else can think of something else.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm the chairperson for the Recognition Committee, Subcommittee. All our members are encouraged to submit nominations for Appearance Awards, Outstanding Service Awards, and Recycle efforts to the Recognition Committee. Anyone can nominate online. Also, please keep in mind that December the 12th, 2018 at 4:30 p.m. have been set for the Holiday Light Tour. Please let us know if you plan to attend. Do we have anything for the tree board?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. I now call on our staff once again for the One City moment. Remember, everyone can contribute to the One City moment.
We've done that.
We've already done that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Our staff item as necessary. Our
We've done
staff, we've already done that, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. We have any other items from our staff?
Nope.
Nope, okay. At this time, the floor is open to our members. Does anyone have any comments? No?
No.
Nobody? Okay.
I'd like to make
Okay.
a suggestion or comment that the city decorations look very, very nice along the streets here in Jacksonville, and I think they've added some new ones this year. And I'd like to tell the Parks and Recreation that we really appreciate those, and the way they look. They're very, very nice.
Sure, tell the council members, they authorized the
Yes.
purchase.
They sure do, but I hope that the citizens will tell them also,
Yes.
here in Jacksonville, how much we do enjoy it, not just take it for granted. Very nice.
We did take some comments about when they put them up, but that number of them, you've got to start getting them up.
Early,
Early.
Yes.
but they
And
are.
as you know, we don't have an abundance of bucket trucks, you know? So they have to make do with what they've got, and that's why they start putting them up at the time they do.
And the Freedom Fountain, I looked at that ceremony, I didn't attend it on G10, and it was magnificent.
Do you like the way the fountain looks at night?
Oh,
Yes, I mean, that is one of the
Beautiful.
great attributes of the city of Jacksonville is that fountain.
Yes.
It's
is
become
really,
iconic,
really
has it
nice.
not?
It has.
Yes.
When they repaired it, do they do anything
We haven't
different?
repaired it yet.
I'm just
The
gonna
company
say.
that's gonna help us, they were, obviously, we said, Florence, stay away,
Ah.
and then Michael hit them. They're
Oh,
in Florida. So we haven't heard much from them, other than the fact that they're coming back up online and stuff like that as it was. But we still haven't gotten it fully repaired, you know, so we're kind of limping along.
Anyone else? Okay. We have approached the end of our agenda. I wish to remind everyone that our next regular meeting is 6 p.m. Thursday, February the 7th, 2018 at the same location.
2019.
2019.
Yep.
Okay. Our planned presentation is about environmental issues and police, our new streets superintendent, and nomination for the Thanksgiving holiday decor recognition. Please don't forget our holiday light tour, December the 12th, 2018 at 4:30 p.m. Without call for further business, I now adjourn this meeting and wish all a very safe travel.
Thank you.